Sobrang nakakagulat na balita. Grabe, Quadcom tumestigo na. Naiyak si VP Sara. Binulgar na ebidensya, sa wakas may nagsalita na. Ayon sa nakalap nating impormasyon, kaya pala mataas ang bill sa Meralco. Kasi nga hinayaan lang sila sa panahon ni Duterte. Hinayaan nilang hindi mag-reset ng singil si Meralco. Hindi inutusan ni minsan man lang ng Duterte. Grabe ang Quadcom tumestigo na. Naiyak si VP Sara. Binulgar na ebidensya, sa wakas may nagsalita na. Tara panoorin natin.
At least kahit mawala na po ako sa Kongreso, meron naman po magpapatuloy pala. Tandaan po natin itong reset ng Meralco ay 15 years na po na walang reset. At sa NGCP naman po ay almost 13 years na po rin silang walang reset. Well, syempre kung alamin mo bakit walang reset, di ba? Tinakda ng rules yan na every 4 years and every 5 years ay dapat po sila nagre-reset. There must be something behind that kung bakit walang nagre-reset. Tama yung sinabi ni JC Abalos, it's more about the distribution charge and the distribution and transmission charge. Pero konting detalye na lang, JC, bababa ka na doon sa mga detalye na, yung mga building blocks, mga weighted average cost of capital, regulatory asset base, yung mga opening and closing RAB depreciation, aabutin mo yan. At naniniwala ako that needs talaga, kailangan na po. Alam mo, sa totoo lang, sawan-sawa na po kung 2019 pa po, pinaglalaban na po natin to. Yung pong reset ng NGCP at ng distribution utilities. Hindi lamang po ito Meralco. Para po sa kalaman ng ating mga kababayan, it's not only Meralco. Meron pa pong 20 other distribution utilities that are also affected by non-computation of the regulatory periods. Apektado po sila dahil ito po ay nagsimula nung the third regulatory period, wherein the regulatory period on the third was not completed. At pumasok na po ang fourth and fifth at ginawa po nilang lapse period. And when I delivered that privilege speech, I was so shocked, no? Because minomonitor ko po itong ERC decisions. Tinitingnan ko po sa website yan. And when I found out that the lapse period, ang ginamit po nila ay hindi po methodology that need to submit all the required documents like yung ating pong valuation ng ating pong mga assets and also the approving yung pong confirmation process and through adjustment instead of going to the internationally accepted methodology, which is the performance-based regulation and ROBR. Nakakalungkot isipin na after so many years that we are fighting for this still, ganito po nangyayari doon po sa ating ERC. And hindi po lahat sa ERC. Katulad na sinabi ko when we were discussing sa NGCP, hindi naman po lahat ng mga taga-ERC. There are those that really stick on the merit on siding with the consumer. Kailangan lang po is katulad na sinasabi ng EPIRA, Section 43, that it must be just and reasonable. And at the end of the day, we have to follow the heart of the EPIRA law, which is Section 23, which state that the distribution utility shall give the consumer electricity in the least cost manner. Yun po yung ating puso ng ating pong EPIRA, kaya ginawa po yan. Wala naman po masyadong mali sa batas. Ang problem lang po ay ang implementasyon. This is a regulatory failure. I hate to admit this, but I believe that the ERC failed us. Sometimes I cannot blame totally the Meralco and other distribution utilities and the GCP as well, because if there was connivance between the different agencies, there's nobody to protect the consumers anymore. Kami mga dito sa Kongreso, ang gagawin po namin ay proteksyonan po yung ating mga kababayan, try to see if all these laws that are being implemented rightly by the ERC that was created by the law that we adopted. So, I hope, sana po, no, sa Meralco, nagbabalik naman po kayo. Nagre-refund na po kayo. Ilang refund na po ang binigay po ninyo sa taong bayan. But yung pong lapse period that was considered as a methodology is anomalous. Hindi po tama yon. And I will be explaining it, Mr. Chairman, all the documents that I gathered, I conceptualized in a 20 pages queries, and I wanted to be clarified on certain issues. So, sa ERC, alam ko, hati kayo dyan. Hati kayo dyan. Alam na alam ko po yan. At alam ko kung sino ang mga commissioner na nagbibigay ng desisyon that is in violation of the Constitution and the APIRA law. And even the rules and procedures of the administrative code, maling-mali po. And basically, siguro, ang inaantay po nila is kasuhan na lang sila. And that will take time. And we know, sometimes yung hirap po pag nag-file ka pa. And that's the reason why ito pong ating pong power to oversight power that was given and mandated to us by the Constitution and by the rules of the House will somehow help us to expedite everything. And we hope that the reset process will be soon. Sana po bago ako magtapos sa kongresong ito, hopefully, sana po maayos na po yung reset. As what promised by Chairman Mona Lisa during sa NGCP po, pinangako niyo po na maghihiring po kayo with the majority in 3 commissioner. And you have promised to us that yung pong ating final determination, the draft final determination will be tackled by the Commission. Can I proceed, Mr. Chairman, with the question and answer? So, Ma'am Mona Lisa, can you kindly tell us kung hindi naman po sa nangihimasok kami dahil quasi judicial po kayo. Wala po kaming kapangyarihan para kayo po ay wala pa tayo sa period of interpellation. Opening statement pa lang po kasi medyo okay po, sige po. So, yun lamang po, mga kasama. To the ERC, we still have time to correct the mistakes na ginawa po natin. Ayoko na pong magtaas ng boses. Ayoko na pong, mamaya po magtatanong ako, pero sana po, let's be truthful. Alam naman po natin, and even Meralco, alam nila na meron silang fault. Mamaya tatanungin ko sila. Alam nila, and nobody can lie because these are all documents that was submitted to the ERC. Kung kinakailangan, isa-isahin natin, busisiin natin, even the decision of the Supreme Court on the ODRC and the double inflation, the mataas na WACC na ibinigay po ni Romulo Neri na meron na pong 8%, 837 or something na WACC, hindi natin ginamit. Alam ko na po lahat yan. And I will remind everybody not to lie anymore. Dahil wala po kami ninanais dito kundi ayusin po natin. Kung kinakailangan mag-refund po sila, ayusin po natin para matapos na po itong problemang ito. Kasi Meralco and NGCP, this is for all of you as well. Kasi as long as hindi po natin inaayos ang reset, the right way, the right methodology, somebody from this Congress will stand up to correct the error. Tandaan po natin yan. And to the ERC, hindi po kayo makakatakas dito. As what I've said, when you visited me in my office years ago, sinabi ko, hahabulin kayo ng panahon. Kaya sana po, itama na po natin. May errors pa po. Sige po, maraming salamat, Mr. Chairman. Po, siguro tanongin ko po yung si Commissioner Puentes and Commissioner Dingal, no? Siguro, pupunta na lang ako doon sa issue nung, because you have a different opinion on the initial determination, di ba? Saka doon sa final determination. Magkaiba eh. Magkaiba yun. And you know all about this, di ba? Na doon po sa initial, naging unanimous ang decision yung lahat. Hindi ko po na-question kasi we don't have the power of this committee is to yung pong oversight. Makita namin kung na-implement po ng tama even your rules that you are being implemented and in violation. Kasi tandaan po ninyo under 34F ng EPIRA, the transmission utility, di ba? Yung mga hindi po use and useful, hindi efficient, ay hindi kailangang makasama doon po sa tinatawag nating charge sa ating mga consumer. Very klaro po ang batas. And now, doon po sa draft final determination, sinasabi nyo, yung mga hindi useful, i-charge na natin sa taong bayan. So, Ma'am Digal, hindi po ako makikialam sa decision nyo, but what do you think about the decision that you have signed on approving the draft final determination on including all the CAPEX na ginagawa at hindi pa napapakinabangan, i-charge sa taong bayan?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, ang position po kasi namin is, pagdating po kasi sa transmission, yan pong paggamit ng methodology na ang regulated entity ay binibigyan na ng parang ini-include na po sa kanyang RAB, yung kung ano po yung nagagastos niya, yan po ay hindi bago. Magmula po sa second RP hanggang third RP po, ganyan na po yung nakalagay dun sa RTWR. Yun po yung rules para sa transmission company. So para po sa amin, ang nagbago lang po dahil nag-lapse period, yung nilagay po namin sa Article 4. Na ngayon po, na instead po na forecast yung ating gagamitin, yung actual na lamang po. Pero yun pong kung paano po itatrato yung ginastos, hindi naman po yun nagbago. So nandoon pa rin po yun, doon sa rules
yes, Ma'am
ngayon.
Commissioner. But you have a new set of rules under the new RDWR na sinasabi doon na use and useful lang. At at the same time, yung NCL nyo, saka yung Asian, Royal Asian Appraisal, sinasabi, hindi kasama yung mga hindi useful. And that's the reason why they come out with the 13.3 billion na makakasama doon sa CAPEX nila. Not the one that was applied by the NGCP. Kumuha kayo ng ng consultant, binayaran nyo nga ng 12 million saka 48 million, di ba?
Yes, Mr.
So,
Chair,
bakit
Your Honor.
hindi po natin sinunod yung kanilang recommendation na hindi po natin dapat isama yung mga hindi pa napapakinabangan. And at the same time, ang batas is very klaro. Sinasabi na kailangan efficient. Na meron ng efficient na yung asset. Kailangan napapakinabangan na bago mo siya i-charge. I know where you're coming from. Kasi before, yun yung panuntunan ng ERC. Unfortunately, mayroon na kayong bagong rules. At sa bagong rules na sinasabi ng RTWR nyo, ng rules on transmission, RTWR, sinasabi na hindi na. Kailangan yung use and useful na.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
Sige po. In the RTWR that was applied by the Commission for the 4th regulatory period, having been a lapse period, there is a new set of rules actually with a very distinct Article 4. And Article 4, hindi nyo po ito makikitang article na to sa mga nakaraang rules. Kaya yung sinasabi ni Commissioner Resi na practically, ginamit din namin yung rules na ginagamit noon, generally that is correct, except that in the RTWR for the 4th regulatory period, there is an Article 4 which says that we will be using actual and historical data in terms of determining the rates for the 4th regulatory period. Kasi, ang punto po doon, hindi po katulad ng PBR sa mga nakaraang kaso. Forecast po kasi yun eh. Hindi pa ho lumalagpas yung mga taon. Dito po sa 2016 hanggang 2022 na ginamit namin na lapse period na yan. Sabi namin lapse period yan no, sa NGCP. Tapos na ho yung panahon eh, hindi na ho pwede mag-forecast. So, under Article 4, it's actually an exception to the general rule eh, na kung lumagpas na yan, alam mo na yun natayo at hindi na mga assets. Bakit mo pa i-allow yung alam mong hindi natatayo na assets? Yun po yung basihan ng Article 4. Based on that, sa Article 4, malinaw din po na sinasabi doon, based on efficient CAPEX, no, ang i-approve ng komisyon. Paano po madedetermine na efficient ang isang asset kung hindi pa natatayo? Eh, hindi mo pa nga nagagamit. So, isa pa po yun sa critical feature ng Article 4. So, dapat po, para maintindihan natin itong napakalaking issue na to, malinaw po dapat sa pag-intindi at pananaw natin, ano ba ang pagkakaiba ng 2016 hanggang 2022 at dun sa 5th RP na prospective. Parating pa lang yung mga panahon na yun eh. Kaya under the PBR, based on the forecasting model, inaalaw ho ng komisyon naman na, sige, kunyari ako po yung transmission utility, bala ko magtayo ng ganito, no? By 2 years from now, nakatayo na yan, or 3 years from now. And in order to encourage po, no, the development of the assets, pinapayagan po yun. But then again, for Article 4, hindi po yun applicable sa mga hindi pa natatayong mga assets.
Yun na nga. Kaya nga, Commissioner Digal, having said that, no, nadinig ko nga, yung Article 4, nabasa ko din yan. Now, I can recall, no, na doon sa sinabi ng rules ninyo na yung mga proyekto, no, na hindi pa natatapos ay hindi mo ma-charge sa ating mga kababayan dahil nga ang sinasabing provision doon collating all the historical and actual information because tapos na nga tapos na yung 2016 to 2020 so in other words wala ka nang looking forward kasi nga yung PBR is a looking forward forecasting, di ba? Ipo-forecast mo, like for example, next year, magko-compute ka ng 2026 to 2030, ipo-forecast mo nga naman siya. Di ba? Pero dito, sinasabi nung Article 4, tapos na to 2016 to 2020, andyan na yung actual Ano yung actual na ginawa? Ano yung actual na efficient na? Kung hindi pa siya tapos, at delayed siya ng 8 taon, at hanggang ngayon, ginagawa pa, efficient ba yun? Di ba't hindi? So bakit natin isasama ang 204 billion na capex ng NGCP kung hindi pa siya efficient? And according to your NCL na consultant and yung appraisal ng Royal Appraisal Corporation Company or something, hindi ko maintindihan, sabi nila, hindi pwede yun kasi hindi pa siya efficient.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, siguro po, doon nga po kami nagkakaiba ng pananaw at ng interpretasyon kung ano po yung sinasabi namin sa Article 4. Kung tungkol po doon sa efficiency naman po yung pag-uusapan, siguro po sa parte ko, hindi po maaaring sabihin na wala pong naging efficiency evaluation dahil ilan po sa mga capex na pinag-uusapan natin ay pre-approve naman namin. Kumbaga, na-evaluate na rin na po naman yan kung yan ay dapat maitayo o hindi at kung yung iba nga po dyan may presyo na rin, may actual cost na. Ang sinasabi lang naman po namin, ang nasa rules po, wala naman po siyang specific po na as commissioned and as spent. Ang nasa rules po namin ay i-consider namin kung ano po yung actual tsaka po yung historical. Which kapag binangga po natin doon sa RTWR na existing na hindi naman po na bago yung ibang provision.
So Commissioner, para makat lang kita, naintindihan ko ang sinasabi mo. So ibig mo sabihin, ano nagiging basis nyo to consider all those capex na hindi siya tapos but you are considering that as efficient? Ano naging basis nyo?
Sabi ko nga po, hindi po ito bago doon sa RTWR ngayon. Dati na po yan ganon.
I know. Ginagawa na yan dati. Pero ngayon nga, sa bagong rules ng RTWR, nagkaroon kayo ng Article 4 na sinasabi, kumuha nga kayo ng appraisal So binayaran nga natin ng almost 50 million plus para sila mag-assess ng lahat ng... Am I correct? That you have hired, nag-procure kayo ng Royal Asia Appraisal Company and NCL? Can you kindly tell me? Inibitahan natin nung andito ba? Okay, consultant. Sige, tell us. So, yung mga na-assess nyo, na-appraise nyo mga assets, anong category nila? Kailangan ba nating i-charge sa tao yung mga asset na yon or not?
Ms. Tampingo, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Your Honor, bali dun sa assessment po namin, well, just focusing on our scope of work. Yung scope of work po kasi namin talaga is to calculate yung regulatory asset base. Well, para po dun sa part of NCL, for example, yun po, para i-recalculate yung regulatory asset base po ng NGCP. And sa pag-consider po ng regulatory asset base and yung calculation po namin as part of the scope of work, dalawa po yun. So, closing RAB po ng 3RP and closing RAB din po ng 4RP. Meaning, yun po yung magiging opening RAB ng 4RP tsaka opening RAB ng 5th RP. Yun po. So, dun po sa calculation po na yun, ang ano po talaga namin, ang position po talaga namin and recommendation to the Commission is talaga pong commissioned assets lang. Yun nga po, nasabi nyo nga po is yung used and useful lang, yun lang po talaga. Lalo na po considering opening RAB. Kasi po sa opening RAB, dapat po ang talagang nandun lang sa opening RAB is yung existing na assets and ginagamit na po na assets. Ngayon, ang mahirap po kasi dito, Your Honor, katulad nga po ng sinabi na po ng ERC, is magkaiba po kasi yung 3RP tsaka 4RP. Yung 3RP po kasi nung time na kung susundin mo yung dating ginawa, meron pong valuation para maka-come out po with an opening RAB, tas meron pong review of CAPEX para po ilagay every year doon na idadagdag po sa opening RAB. Opo. Pero dito po sa nangyari sa 4th RP, naging yun nga po, sabi nyo nga po, naging actual na kasi natapos na po. So with the fact na natapos na, ang position po namin for RAB po talaga, especially for opening RAB, closing RAB, yun po talagang used and useful assets lang, commissioned assets lang po.
Okay, cut na kita doon.
Yes po.
Ma'am, nakuha ko na yung point nyo. So you have recommended that the used and useful must be considered on the opening and the closing RAB of
Yes
the third
po.
and fourth.
Yes po.
And at the same time, yung CAPEX natin, na iba kasi yung opening sa closing doon sa RAB, di ba?
Opo.
So ngayon, ang tanong, yan ma'am, having said that, nadinig nyo, Commissioner, that the recommendation of your consultant, which we paid, almost, magkano? Magkano binayaran siya? 12 million or 48 million?
29 po, kasi
29.
combined na po yung expenditure review tsaka
Yung
RAB.
royal appraisal, magkano?
Yung dalawang projects po yung pinaghiwalay.
Yes, I know.
12 po for RAB, 30 po for expenditure.
So yung kabila, magkano ma'am?
29 po RAB and expenditure review
Pareho
combined.
yung royal appraisal.
Magkaiba po,
Magkano
magkaiba po.
royal appraisal? Magkano ma'am?
Yung royal po 12 sa RAB, 30 po sa expenditure review,
That is total of how much?
42 po.
42 million.
Apo.
At kayo, NCL, ang magkano total?
29 po pero combined na po RAB and expenditure review.
Commissioner Dingvel. So double inflation kayo. Kaya, alam mo, hindi kayo lulusot dito Commissioner Kasi alam ko na naman lahat yan Double inflation. Kaya ang sinasabi ng consultant nyo, isang inflation lang. It's either ODRC or real WACC. Di ba real WACC nyo is kalahati ng WACC nyo na nominal? Am I correct? Pauline.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, hindi po kasi ako WACC expert so hindi ko po
Sinong, si Mr. Non. I read one of your article about this double inflation. Can you kindly explain to us yung double inflation that was catered by the third regulatory period because of the decision of the Supreme Court?
Hindi tayo pwedeng mag-assign ng rate kung hindi natin gagawin yung exercise na kukunin yung revenue requirement or cost of service.
And I think it doesn't make sense, Commissioner Dinggal, it doesn't make sense na lapse na nga nakaraan na Tapos ipo-forecast mo yung nakaraan?
Yes.
How can you forecast din nakaraan kung meron ka ng actual data, meron ka ng actual information? And that's wrong appreciation of Article 4. Now, if I cannot change your decision on this matter, well, katulad ng binanggit ko sa inyo nung nasa opisina kayo, hahabulin kayo ng pagkakataon. Maniwala kayo. Anyway, siguro, doon na muna tayo sa ODRC and also the double inflation. Kasi nagkaroon ng double inflation to Kaya nga ang desisyon ng consultant nyo is mababa yung opening RAB ng fourth regulatory period because of the decision of the Supreme Court on making it void yung ODRC because ang WACC is already inflated. 1497 na. Ang sabi ni Romulo Neri, 8.97%. So, dalawang inflation, isang sa regulatory asset base at isa sa WACC, double whammy ang ating mga kababayan. Dalawa ang sinisingil. Kaya nga makikita mo din sa Meralco Makikita mo yung kanilang audited financial statement sa kanilang provision for loss. Meron silang meron silang 10 billion, 9 billion 2016 to 2020. Sige, pakita natin. Pakita natin para makita ng ating mga kababayan that this is not something that is unusual in a audited financial statement of the Meralco because makikita natin na meron silang provision for loss. Hindi yan, yung isa. So, bakit tayo may provision for loss? So, ibig sabihin, meron tayong kinikita na inilalaan natin sa pagbabayad ng refund. Di ba? O yan. So, Meralco, can you kindly confirm that ano nga natin, zoom natin sa 2011, 2011, 2012, meron kayong 9 billion provision for loss. Meron kayong 2013, ayan, provision for losses. Can you kindly explain to us, Meralco, what is the provision for losses that you put in your audited financial statement? Because hindi ako CPA. Most likely, sino ba CPA dito? Who can explain to us, as a commissioner, sino mga CPA? Commissioner nun, are you a CPA? Sige. Meralco muna. Can you kindly explain to us why do you have a provision for loss? Ano po itong provision na to na nakalagay po sa inyong financial statement? Every year, meron po kayo. Start na lang po natin yung 2012 dahil doon po tayo nagkaroon ng problema sa third regulatory period. Diyan po tayo nagkaroon ng double inflation, inflated na ang ODRC, inflated pa ang WACC. Alam niyo, nakikiusap na po talaga ako. Mag-reset na po tayo. Kasi talagang, well, alam naman ng Meralco to, yung ating confirmatory process, di ba? Yung, alam naman natin yung hindi naman po siya nakaset sa international standard na methodology because walang computation po ng WACC, walang computation ng regulatory asset base, wala kayong opening RAB, wala kayong closing RAB, wala kayong depreciation. At yung kinompute nung 2011 na 1.38, 1 peso and 38 cents, hanggang ngayon yun ang sinisingil nyo sa taong bayan. Ang sinasabi po natin, yung pong lapse period na ginawa po nating methodology ng ERC, hindi nyo kasalanan. Sila, katulad ng sinasabi ko sa NGCP, hindi nyo kasalanan. Sila, ERC. Kaya meron tayong regulatory failure. Kaya dito namin nilagay sa good government. Because mali po ang ginagawa ninyo. Hinahayaan nyo. Kailangan kayo yung pinaka-safeguard, safe namin, the last resort ng kababayan natin . Hindi na po namin kailangan mag-intervene. Kung ginagawa nyo lamang yung tungkulin nyo. I'm not talking about Mona Lisa and Catherine Mendoza because I read all of your dissenting opinion. Because the 3 commissioners, I have read your decision. Talagang, hindi nyo in-appreciate yung double inflation . Utos ng Supreme Court yun, di ba? Kasi sinabi mo kanina that you are all for the reset. Di ba?
Of course, yes sir. Yes, sir.
Kung tayo po ay for reset, and you all know that ever since, mag-ilang taon na kayo dyan, never nakaka-experience kayo ng reset. Di ba? Wala kayo na-experience na reset kahit isa. Lahat kayo. Wala. Kasi ang last reset natin is 2011. And you have considered the lapse period. Ang appreciation natin is confirmation process. Ano po ba yung confirmation process? Yung true-up adjustment. Ang sinasabi doon is, adapt na lang natin yung letter ng Meralco saying that yung ating pong IAR, yung interim average rate natin is 1 peso and 38 cents. Ano na lang natin sa awat. Ibangga na lang natin at kung ano yung sumobra, yun ang i-refund natin. Is that the right methodology, Commissioner? Considering na sinasabi niyo that you are all for reset, but you have adopted the lapse period na 2016 hanggang 2022. And you also adopted the true majority vote. I'm not questioning. But the power of this committee is the oversight. Good government. Di ba? Doon sa inyong decision na isa pa rin, isinama nyo na rin sa lapse hanggang 2025 ng June. Kinonsider nyo lapse samantalang hindi pa tapos yung 2025 ng June. How can you do that? Sinabi nyo sa decision nyo, isama na yung 2022, ang lapse period, 2016 hanggang 2025 ng June. Lapse na ba ang June, Commissioner? Hindi mo na, tinatanong kita, Commissioner Fuentes.
Procuring the consultant that we are going to engage for the validation of the application, Sir Chair.
Hire ng consultant, hindi nyo naman sinusunod yung kanilang recommendation. Lumakas tayo ng 60 million dyan, hindi nyo na nga sinunod yung kanilang sinasabi na double inflation. Di ba? Mag-hire na naman kayo? Alam nyo, ayoko na magalit talaga. Masama pakiramdam ko ngayong araw na to. Yung lapse kasi, Commissioner, ang appreciation nyo is confirmation lang. Kinonfirm nyo lang yung 1 peso and 38 cents. Tapos, kinuha nyo yung awat, minus nyo yung interim average rate, Kaya nag-refund ang Meralco. Ngayon, ang tanong ko, bakit kailangan kayong mag-lapse period whereas pwede naman kayong mag-reset? Di ba? Kaya nga pakiusap ko kanina madinig ko lang sa inyo na ano kayo, ipangako nyo sa Kongreso to, being an oversight committee, di ba na, i-reset nyo yung lapse period. Hindi nyo siya i-consider, hindi nyo siya i-consider as confirmation process. Hindi true-up adjustment ang hinahanap namin dito. Kasi hanggang hindi nyo kinokorek yun, sequential nga tayo ordinal numbers, may apekto Di ba? Commissioner? So, please, pakiusap. Kasi hindi nyo naman to kami malulusutan Ako talagang pinagbali-baliktad ko ng mga dokumentong ito. Talagang, you have violated Section 23 and 34F of the APERA law. You have violated. May decision na ang Supreme Court, pero hindi nyo pa rin sinusunod. Because yun ang contention nyo, that yun ang appreciation nyo. And, well, siguro, tatanggapin namin yung decision nyo. Katulad yan sinabi ni Congressman Rupus, we cannot question the decision of the majority. It will still your decision. Kasi, quasi-judicial kayo. But, tandaan ninyo, mayroong paghuhukom. Hahabulin kayo ng pagkakataon. So, yun lang po muna, Mr. Chairman, kasi nga, hanggang hindi po binabago yung 1 peso and 38 cents na sinisingil sa taong bayan na supposedly dapat yan po ay sa bagong WAC na 8.97 according to, ayan, nagbayad din tayo kay Romulo Neri. Ang sabi ni Romulo Neri, ang WAC natin, nung kailan nyo sila pinrocure? Si Romulo Neri. O, 2018. Sinabi nila, ang WAC nila, kasi ang WAC kasi multiplier yan Doon mo multiply para kumita sila Pero ang kanilang computation is 1497. Na dapat, sabi ni Neri, hindi, 8.97 lang yan. O yun ayaw nila mabago. Kasi nga, ang taas ng profit. Di ba? So, baguhin natin yung 1 peso and 38 cents. Pakiusap ko sa mga regulator natin, baguhin nyo po yung lapse period ng 2016 hanggang sinasabi nyo yung 25 na lapse na yon, baguhin nyo po yung 1 peso and 38 cents. Pag hindi nyo po binago yan, hahabulin kayo ng mga congressman dito. Ayan, andyan na si Congressman JC Abalos. Ibibigay ko sa kanya ang lahat ng impormasyon. Andyan si Congressman Abante. Andyan si Congressman Rupus, lahat ibibigay ko to para malaman niyo yung katotohanan na ako po ay hindi nagsisinungaling. Binabase ko po lahat sa dokumentong hawak ko na sinabit nyo sa ERC and yung audited financial statement po ninyo. Hindi po ako magkakamali kasi the documents will not lie, Mr. Chairman. Hindi po magsisinungaling to.
Akin na mo ibigay.
Hindi, I will let Congressman Abante.
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
With the indulgence of Congressman Presley De Jesus, the Vice Chairman.
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Meron lang ako.
Kasi it's a one quick question because I have a couple of questions with the retrace.
Meron lang akong related dito kay Congressman Fernandez.
Please proceed.
Kasi kinakailangan maging maliwanag sa taong bayan to unang-una, ano ba talaga ang reset sa ERC? At pangalawa, bakit hindi kayo nag-reset na matagal na panahon? Yun ang dalawang tanong ko. Unang-una, ano ba talaga ibig sabihin yan?
Pakipaliwanag po yung ibig sabihin ng reset in layman's term.
Pangalawa, bakit hindi sila nag-reset na matagal na panahon? I do not buy your statement that it's a different thing, no? So I don't buy that, Mr. Non.
That's why may I answer.
Just a moment, I'm still speaking. I don't buy that. You're answering us like you are very sure of what you're trying to do. You even corrected yourself. You said that, di ba? Di ba?
That's what I
You said a moment ago that there is a correction you made. Ibig sabihin, may error kayo.
No, the error was previously.
Oh, previously of what? Before your time?
Yes.
Oh, therefore, naniniwala ka, may error before your time. And you corrected that, di ba?
That's why I wanted to explain. The error happened during the period 2010 to the third regulatory period. That the final determination of the third regulatory period, which sets the rate for the third regulatory period, was finalized in June of 2011, before we came. So when we came, the third regulatory period has already been set. Okay. So if there was an error there, unless we try to go back, which we do not do normally, unless we go back, then that's the only time that we will see the error.
Mr. Chair.
Well, you said a moment ago, while you were explaining your time, na you corrected the error. Yun ang binanggit mo kanina.
We did not. They corrected it.
No.
Mr. Chairman.
The record actually state that, no? You made corrections to the error.
No, we did not.
Mr.
You
Chair.
said that a
Mr. Chair,
moment
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Tapusin ko
we're gonna
muna.
have,
Yan.
gonna have
Kasi
Congressman
he keeps on saying
Jesus
na
first and then
I have
Congressman
nothing against Mr. Commissioner, former Commissioner no, kasi sinasabi niya hindi nila pwede i-correct kasi previous na daw. Bakit si Chairman Dimolanta naayos niya lahat? So ibig sabihin interconnected niya, parang domino effect. Pero si Madam Chair Mona, na-correct nila. So during 7 years wala kayong ginawa and they're making 350,000 a month pension nila. Tapos yun lang, hindi nila makorek yun for 7 years, walang ginawa. Meanwhile, we suffer and we keep on blaming Meralco, Dios, and even NGCP na dapat ang ERC ang gumagawa ng trabaho. Yun lang, Mr. Chair, I'll give the floor
okay.
to
Yes,
Chairman.
Congressman
Sige,
Fernandez.
with all due respect, with Congressman Presley De Jesus. Mr. Renon, kailan ba kayo naging commissioner?
Kapag
Kailan po kayo naging commissioner?
August 2011.
August 2011.
Yes.
And the problem started when? Kasi alam nyo,
Before 2011.
kasi po, para balik uli natin, yung katulad na in-explain ko kanina. Ang regulatory periods, Mr. Chairman, ano po yan, sequential yan Ordinal numbers nga interconnected Kapag nagsimula ka ng mali doon sa second regulatory period, sama-sama na yan, dire-diretso na yan, dire-diretso na. But if you will only see, all the documents pertaining to the different exchanges of letters coming from the commissioners, coming from the Meralco, coming from the NGCP, and the actions that was taken by the ERC, makikita po nyo yung deliberate, yung pag-iwas para magkaroon ng reset. 13 years for NGCP and 15 years for Meralco. What do you expect? Sigurado, ayaw talagang magkaroon ng reset. Yun ang katotohanan dito. But kanina nga sinasabi ko, let's not blame anymore anyone, no? Let's move forward. Kasi nakikita naman natin, there are intention to refund. Nakita ko naman merong refund pero hindi complete. Hindi siya complete. Because walang proper reset. Walang proper rate reset. Pinagtatakpan nila through confirmation process, which is devoid of any documents pertaining to the actual computation to arrive doon sa tinatawag po nating taripa. Kung wala kang pagbabasihan doon sa gagawin mong charge sa consumer, paano naging methodology yun? Wala confirmation process that was approved for the lapse period, 2016 up to now. Nag-base lang sila doon sa tinatawag na i-confirm na natin yung 1 peso and 38 centavos na inaprubahan nila ng 2011 hanggang ngayon. Kahit sa lapse period, dapat yan ang gamitin natin. And I think, yun ang sinasabi ko, nag-fail ang ERC dito. And, wag na po nating, ako, nakikita ko, Mr. Chairman, moving forward, kailangan natin magkaroon ng commitment from these people that will really have to have a methodology that will cater the actual computation of the rate for our people. As a matter of fact, Mr. Chairman, may babalik naman po Ang importante lamang yung lapse period na kinonsider nila na ito na ang taripa, pero walang pinagbabasihang mga assets, walang pinagbabasihang tamang WACC, yun ang ginawa nilang computation. Yun ang ginawa nilang presyo. In other words, Mr. Chairman, 1 peso and 38 centavos, yun na. Yun na ipasok natin sa lapse period. Is that just and reasonable? Hindi po reasonable yun. And in violation of Section 43 of the EPIRA and also Section 23 to give consumer electricity in the least cost manner. 18 months prior, ang tanong, did you file 18 months prior to the statutory deadline ng position paper? Kapag hindi kayo nag-file in accordance with their own rules na ginawa ng ERC, then may violation ang regulated entity.
Kailangan muna mag-file muna sila bago tatawagin ng reset.
Yes, because it is, yung rules po kasi, Mr. Chairman,
proper procedure?
Mr. Chairman, ang proper procedure, the rules RTWR and RTWR are being published. Pag pinablish po yan, makikita na ng mga regulated entity. At sasabihin, 18 months before, kailangan mag-apply na tayo, kailangan may position paper tayo. And then they will conduct a public hearing. At pag nag-conduct sila ng public hearing, makikita nila lahat doon. And then, lahat na ng regulatory asset base, the weighted average cost of capital, the depreciation and everything will be put into order. Ang problem, Mr. Chairman, kung hindi sila magbibigay ng position paper 18 months prior, there is already a violation.
That's the reason why we wanted to know who was the chairperson at that time. Maybe he or she has a valid reason for not scheduling the reset. Or if maybe Commissioner Non,
Mr. Chairman,
can ventilate this issue to the...
It is a matter that is so important.
Fernandez.
We're not blaming anybody, especially the regulated entity. But of course, katulad na nabanggit po ni Commissioner Maceda.
I have to blame somebody.
Wait, Mr. Chairman. Kasi nga, ang feeling ko, sinasabi niyo, we're barking on the wrong tree. Because sumulat ito, I have a copy, nung sulat ng chairperson ng ERC, si Agnes de Banadera, nung July 2019. That yun na nga po na i-publish. But they never publish it eh. Yun ang problem. Is yung isang mga requirements para yung rates, yung rule for rate setting, mag-start na. But because the Meralco never published it, and at the same time, noong 2011, meron ding sulat ang ERC na inuutusan sila to follow the rules and procedures on the asset valuation. But ang problem, hindi rin sila nag-reply. Will you kindly confirm this? Sino bang nasa panahon ng si Commissioner Non? Can you kindly confirm that the Commission ordered the Meralco to comply with the rules of procedures on the valuation of their assets because merong ang mali doon sa valuation. So did you done that na talagang inutusan sila?
Yeah. I would like to thank Commissioner Maceda for reminding. Actually, as she said, the fourth regulatory period actually should have started in 2016. And during our time, the process started 18 months before, which means 2013. So the position paper was there, the karoon ng mga hearings, and then we completed the amended rules for distribution wheeling rate sometime in 2016. But before it could be put into implementation, it has to be published for purposes of there is a legal term for to be in effect. So the order then was for Meralco and PEPOA to have it published, but it was not published even after repeated demands until nagkaroon ng bagong regulatory period in 2019. But before that, 2016, the ERC actually went into a internal problem. It started with the chairman then was Salazar. Chairman Salazar. After Ducot. Okay? But in 2016, we had an internal problem where one of our directors committed suicide. And nagkaroon ng investigations within ERC, what is the involvement of who, the chairman, and everybody. And that really threw up all the schedules. We have been called for investigation in the NBI, Congress, Senate, and there was a time when all the commissioners were even suspended for 3 months. So that really disrupted all the schedules from 2016 until the chair, Agnes de Banadera, was appointed in 2017. So that's basically where we could start again under a new chairmanship, Agnes de Banadera, sometime in August or September of 2017. The disruption in 2016 was really a big blow as far as the Queensland is concerned, because practically most of the time we could not do anything because of disruption. But the reset itself for the fourth regulatory period was started, but it was not implemented because of the non-publication of the rules in 2016.
In fairness naman po sa mga commissioners natin and mga chairman, before the decision, yung mga cases that were filed, I was able to read everything. And para maging fair lang kay commissioner noon, I was able to read all your cases that you filed. And being a part of the ERC, you have done your part. But accordingly, kung ano man na nangyari doon sa loob, that I don't know. Even with the 3 commissioners, that I have read your decision as well, and even those who have dissented. So basically, yung pong sinasabi natin connivance is really hard to prove. At well, siguro out of the documents that I have read, doon nagbabase yung privilege speech ko that there was a alleged connivance, because sino ba naman ang nasa matinong pag-iisip na 13 taon hindi ka magre-reset, 15 taon hindi ka magre-reset, tapos kumikita in accordance with their audited financial statement? Wala namang maniniwala. At bakit tayo mananatili sa 1 peso and 35 cents? Di ba? Sa distribution utility.
Ngayon, ikaw bilang Pilipino, ano ang masasabi mo at reaksyon sa balitang ito? Mag-iwan ka ng komento sa ibaba at atin pong babasahin isa-isa.